Alright, so let's take a look at where we left off last time. We created a print statement and we connected this variable, just generic number variable. So I'm going to right click in here and clear this. And so if I hit Control and G to run this and I hit escape, you can see down here, hello from camera 10. Now let's take a look at how we can hook up controls inside of our environment or our scene. So what I'd like to do is actually add a input to this particular camera. So what I'm going to do up here is go to Add Component, Input. Oops, looks like I'm in the Level Inspector. Let's go down to our Entity Inspector. I'm going to go to Add Component here and do Input. Now, what this input does is it says Input to Event Bindings. So what it's looking for is something called an input binding, which is the way we would control or connect a camera, or I'm sorry, a controller or mouse or keyboard input. A quick way to get to it is to our asset editor to create that is by clicking this right here. I also have my asset editor here where I can go to File, New, and I can go down to Input Bindings. And if you don't see your asset editor under Tools up here, you can go to Asset Editor. So I'm going to click this button just to show you that method. And once I click that, notice in my asset editor, it created a new asset. And it says Input Event Groups. Now this new asset doesn't have a name, so I can actually just go to File and then do Save As. And what I can do for this is what I want to do is record mouse clicks. So I'm just going to type in mouse clicks. I'll just do mouse for now, mouse bindings, because maybe I want to do rolling wheel, the scroll wheel in the middle, or middle click, or whatever. So here under mouse bindings, I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and you can see now it's called mouse bindings. And if I want to add a left click the ability, so I'm going to click plus here, and we have this thing called unspecified event. So for the event name here, I'm going to do LMB, all capitals, and that's going to revert to my left mouse button. Now under event generators, I'm going to click this right here, and what I'm trying to do is add an input here. So I just double clicked it to maximize the window, and I'm going to hit OK. And now I have my first generator. Notice that it's mapped to my gamepad button here. I don't want that. I actually want it mapped to my keyboard. Oop, not my keyboard, rather my mouse. And notice right off the bat it said input name mouse button left. Notice it has all these different things. Mouse movement, my middle mouse button, so on, and my right mouse button. You can see that. So I'm just going to leave it at my mouse button left here. And what I'd like to do as I left click within my scene, I want to print a message to the console here. So off on the side of my input here, you can see input to event bindings. I'm going to click this little arrow here, and I'm going to look for the mouse binding here. And you can see under LB folder, mouse bindings, it's located right there. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And you can see it added it there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save that in my scene. I'm going to do File, and then I'm just going to save in here. I can also just click in here and hit Control S to save that. And you can see Asset Saved. Now let's select our camera again. And up here in the script canvas where it hits play, I'm going to go ahead and open up that option. Now in order to connect our mouse button, our left mouse button click, we need to actually add an input binding node. So I'm just going to type input here, and that said insert. I should have typed out the full input. So here we have an input handler, and the input handler here is looking, and it's asking for, let me kind of scale this over just a little bit here so you can see that. It's looking for an event name. Now remember we created an event name and it was LMB here. So I'm just going to left click in there and hit Control C, and then I'm going to paste it inside of here. So what I want to do is every time in this input I press my left mouse button, right, which is that LMB event, I'm going to print. So I'm just going to copy and paste this print statement. I'm going to print LMB clicked. All right, now that's every time I press it. So let's see what happens if we run that. So I'm going to hit Control S, I'm going to shrink that, and now I'm going to hit Control G. Actually, let's clear this out first. So Control Shift C, and click in here and hit Control G. Now when I left click, notice it says LMB clicked every time I click the button. So I'm going to hit escape there. So this is a good way of looking at how we can connect our asset editor to a input that's on a specific object and register at least the left mouse button for now.